Hi guys, welcome back to the Zebra Tribe and welcome back to the next video in my series of young parents video. This one is about my pregnancy experience, and this is quite interesting. I'm just going to start off with saying I did not enjoy being pregnant any of the times. When I first found out I was pregnant, I had morning sickness throughout my pregnancy. Didn't last forever. It lasted up until month 3. I had really bad nausea. I didn't have heartburn or anything like that, but one other thing that I had was weight gain, guys. Oh my gosh. By the 4th month mark, I had already gained 20 pounds, and it was not good. Up until month 4, everything was going pretty well. My gynecologist, or OBGYN I should say, started telling me that, you know, your baby, you have a bigger baby, when she measured me all the time. And then, you know, about the 5-month mark, she started saying, oh yeah, your baby's measuring quite large, you know, you might have to start thinking about a C-section. And she's telling me this at 5 months, guys. Mind you, I still have another 4 months to go. So she starts telling me this, and because she's the OBGYN, I'm listening to her because she knows more than I do, even though I read books, and I was a young mom, so I didn't know what else to think. Anyways, at some point around the 5.5 months mark, she indicated that she sent me to go get the gestational diabetes test, which came back positive. So I ended up having gestational diabetes throughout my pregnancy. And that was what changed everything. I needed to take insulin, and I had to take it before every meal. So I was injecting myself with a needle 4 times a day. I took it before breakfast, lunch, supper, and I also took it before I went to sleep. And I constantly had to check my blood all the time. And because of I guess gestational diabetes is you're considered like high risk. Because of that, I went to an endocrinologist to test my blood sugar levels and such. I went to the hospital to go get a non-stress test, and I was going for weekly appointments where I did weekly blood work. And so yeah, I started doing that from the 5-month mark throughout the rest of my pregnancy. Every week I had 3 appointments, not to mention there were times when I had to meet with the nutritionist. So that came into play, and I was gaining, throughout my whole pregnancy, I gained 100 pounds the first pregnancy, the first time around. It sounds crazy because I basically gained an entire other person. I had a huge tummy. You might have thought I was carrying twins, and I mean, I still actually exercised in there because of the diabetes. I would go to like the stadiums or whatever and walk around to get exercise, and it was just uncomfortable. My feet were swollen, my face was swollen, and everything was swollen. It was just a bit much. So as you can see, I guess those are the things that contributed to me not enjoying my pregnancy, but I just didn't feel good inside my pregnancy either. I didn't feel, you know, I was connected to my baby and all, and I, you know, spoke to my baby and all that jazz, but at the same time I just didn't like to feel immobile. Like I couldn't comfortably just get up and do, you know, just go for a walk or do stuff. And I mean, because it just felt so uncomfortable and there was so much weight. I had to use a body pillow to sleep at night because my tummy just carried so much weight. And I also had a belly band to help support my tummy and hold it back. But my pregnancy progressed and things looked well, but I went into labor. I indicated this in like our first videos that I went into labor on my own, and my obstetrician had already scheduled a C-section for me on the 38-week mark. So I had anticipated, because she just kept putting in my head over and over and over again, C-section, C-section all the time. That's the only thing I could think of. So when I went to labor naturally on my own, I was freaked out. Like I wasn't freaked out during the contractions because I don't know, I was in denial that I was even in labor, in active labor. But when I arrived at the hospital and they indicated that I was 8 centimeters and they're like, okay, you're gonna get prepared to push, I was so freaked out. Like I didn't I was just like, no, I just want a C-section. I opted to have a C-section. Can you imagine that? I basically opted to have a C-section because I was so freaked out when, when your OBGYN just puts it in your head that just all these negative things pertaining to what could happen, it just freaks you out. And now, after looking back and even knowing who she really is, I've heard that like she is known for C-sections. That's how she is. She is known that specific doctor likes to just do C-sections. That's her method. And so now I can see why she did it. And even though I understand the safety behind it, I went into labor and I could have possibly had my child on my own, but I never even tried, right? Anyways, so be it, right? I did it, and I didn't even try to push, and then I basically had the C-section, and our baby was born, and she was so beautiful. She's just like this big, chubby sumo wrestler, and yeah, she was so cute. She weighed 9 pounds, 12 ounces, guys. Yes, she was a big baby. But at the same time, I've heard of people pushing out 10-pounders, right? So I could have still tried. But yeah, that's a pointer right there for maybe those of you who are told you're having a large baby, or that you're going to have a C-section. I'm not telling you not to listen to your OBGYN, but it's important to do your research first. I was young, and I'm not saying that the way I did it wasn't the right way, because I felt fine about my C-section, but at the same time, sometimes I wonder, could I have done it? Because I didn't even get the opportunity to try, right? So maybe that's something, if you're in that position right now, or even in the future, just make sure you do your research. And I don't know, so many people are planning their own birth stories and planning it the way they see fit for their own families or themselves. And I'm not saying it's always right, but because the baby's obviously really important, but at the same time, you got to think about what's good for you too, because I find that some of these doctors only do what's best for them. So anyways, baby was born. Hubby had exams around that time. He had to run off to exams. So it was kind of difficult in the hospital when you have so much weight on you and you have a C-section. Your tummy doesn't just bounce right back unless you had like, I don't know, I weighed 150 before. I wasn't like really overweight in any way, but I don't know, it just didn't just go back right away. So it was, the weight of my tummy was over, kind of, hanging over the incision, and oh my gosh, it just was not that comfortable. It was very painful, and I had to take care of my baby in the hospital for 2 days, because in Canada, when you have a C-section, you're in there for 5 days. At least that's how long I think it was for me because of the situation. So because I had high blood sugar levels, my baby was born with low blood sugars, and so she was in the NICU for 2 days, and that was really, really hard because she couldn't stay with me. And then it was sad because the lady next door had her baby, and the lady on the other end had her baby, and you can hear all these women with their babies, and they're crying, and here I am just kind of laying there, and my baby is in the NICU, and I could only go and see her twice a day. And so that was really, really tough. Another thing that happened to me is that I had planned on nursing the entire time, but because she was in the NICU, they started bottle feeding her, which was it was out of my control, but at the same time, that opportunity was kind of taken away from me at the time. So I would visit her twice a day, and then upon like the third day, she was able to come back into my room, and I was able to take care of her and tend to her. I'm not going to share too much about my other pregnancies. Birth 2 and 3, I knew what to expect. I knew what to do. I actually got myself up and I was a little bit more active. Gestational diabetes took a little bit longer to come on because I didn't just feed into the cravings as I did the first pregnancy. I was 19. I didn't think, oh my gosh, I'm going to get gestational diabetes. So I was eating whatever I wanted or whatever my body was craving. After going through that experience, I learned, and I didn't want that to happen again. Not that I could prevent it, because it still did, but it just took a lot longer to come on, and it was a little bit more controlled because I was aware of what to do and knew what to expect. And that was a part of our reason too as to why we ended up choosing to have our kids closer in age. We already had one, and I know we were young, but at the same time we both had goals, and we both still are achieving our goals and have achieved our goals. And so we just had a plan. We planned around how we were going to do things, and we started our family, so we just wanted to kind of, you know, kind of create our little family in the moment. And so that's what we did. We waited 2 years in between each of them, and A, because I didn't enjoy being pregnant, B, because I gained a lot of weight, and I wanted to get my body back, like, and get it back and just keep it back, which is always, it's still a struggle, y'all. But, and C, where was I? And C, like I said, we already started our family, and I didn't want our kids to be like super spaced out between one another. That's just my personal preference, and our personal preference, and so that's why we did it the way we did. Diabetes is actually something that runs in my family. My mom is full-blown diabetic, so that's something I still have to watch and be careful of, and just try to ensure that I don't get it. You know, it's I don't feel like it's I can't prevent it from coming on, but I can hold it off as long as it takes, I guess. And so yeah, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm joking. No, but that is my story, and that's pretty much what took place. In the next video, I will talk to you guys about my weight loss experience during pregnancy, because if I keep talking in these videos, they're gonna be so long, you ain't gonna want to watch them. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying this series, please guys, feel free to interact and comment down below, and just let me know. Please leave me some feedback, because I don't want to be making all these videos if you ain't gonna be watching them. I'm joking, but you know what I mean. I really appreciate your support, and just give me some feedback so I can know if you find these videos to be remotely interesting, if you're going through a similar experience, or if you found anything that you could connect with throughout this video. Yeah, let me know below. And please stay tuned for our other videos within this series. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye. Much love.